Council of Vermont by Will Corona, Matt Wickman, Brian Tacone, and Nick Dosky.
The Council of Vermont. The council lasted from November 19th to November 28th in 1095. At the council there were over 300 bishops, and most of the bishops were from France. A lot of very important subjects about God and war were brought up at this council. Pope Urban II's speech. In the speech, he said that the Franks will help out the Christians in taking back the Holy Land, which is Jerusalem. He also said that they will feel remorse for all the sins that they are going to have going through this journey. And the last and most important thing that the Pope said was that God will be leading this war.
The preaching of Peter the Hermit. Peter the Hermit was the leader of the People's Crusade. The People's Crusade is where a lot of unarmed citizens marched to Jerusalem before the actual crusade. Having been commissioned by Pope Urban II to preach a crusade, Peter the Hermit preached to all of Italy and France. Peter the Hermit gained support by many with the line VID00008. VID00008. This meant, "It is the will of God. It is the will of God." Why Christians wanted to fight the crusade. The city of Jerusalem had a holy significance to Christians. It is where Christ was crucified and buried. In 1065, Jerusalem was taken by the Turks, and 3,000 Christians were massacred. And this was a big problem because Christians were promised a safe trip to Jerusalem when they went to visit. The remaining Christians were threatened so badly that throughout Christendom, people wanted to fight the Crusades. Why Muslims wanted to fight. Muslims believed that Jerusalem was a holy land that was promised to them by God. An important or notable Muslim site in Jerusalem is the Dome of Rock, which is built over a sacred stone. Muslims also believe in jihad. A jihad is a holy war, and for Muslims it is considered an honor to be a part of a jihad.
Okay, so the first crusade begins. The armies really didn't have commanders to start out with, so they basically took their own routes and time to get there. And when they got to Jerusalem, they went more west, and they kind of grouped together to arrange their attack. And many of them were French, so they were given the name Franks. And by the time that everybody got to Jerusalem, 1/4 the original population was there. So the first attack on the city walls was stopped, and then the second was successful, and it was taken in July 1099, and the invasion lasted 7 days long, and at the end, no Muslims were left alive.
And that was the fun part. The groundbreaking visual experience of the First Crusade, created by Matt Wickman.
Thanks.
So, Pope Urban is talking to his men, getting them very fired up to fight in God's war. And now the first battle.
Another flip.
That was impressive.
Oh, wow!
Decapitation.
Pretty gory.
Not
5 elephants will carry.
One guy to feed the entire army.
That's how it goes.